Hello, all you weirdos. Jim here, and we have a bit of rumored news. This is kind of officially unofficial stuff here, but it kind of is going to be official. And what this is all about is the X-Men line of books. When the Krakoan era ends later in 2024, it looks like Gail Simone will be the head writer for Tom Brevoort's new X-Men line of books. And I'm going to trademark it right now. I want it to be called the Simoan Era. It really rolls off the tongue, the Simoan Era, but we'll get into that right about now.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
All right, now again, nothing is really official, but a couple things hit at the end of the week that makes it kind of so. First off, Gail Simone tweeted, "Love you all. Hope you're having a fantastic week," which is very nice. Thank you. "I am working on one of the most thrilling comics projects I've ever been a part of with incredible collaborators, and it's like rainbows everywhere I look. I don't really know that I'd want that, but that's fine. I always enjoy making comics, but this is special. Let's be happy." Again, thank you, Gail. I would love to be happy, but a tweet isn't going to do it, unfortunately, because I'm a miserable prick. That is trademarked. But then Marvel announced their free comic book day lineup that included a Gail Simone, David Marquez X-Men #1 story with the synopsis, "Get a glimpse of the future of mutant kind as Jubilee learns that you cannot go home again." Now, that's not anything that's going to get me that excited, but it does point towards, okay, Gail Simone, X-Men #1, glimpse of the future of mutant kind. Okay, we get it. It all kind of comes together, and it is seemingly that Tom Brevoort has hired Gail Simone to be the head X-Men writer. Now, whether this is good or bad news really is totally up to you, which it always is. But as someone who bailed on the X books after the first Hellfire Gala, this is still me on the fence. This is not a deal breaker for me. Like I see some people saying it is, but it's also not a game changer. I don't hate Gail Simone as a comic book writer as much as a lot of people, but I also don't love her. She's not my favorite writer of all time, not even close. She obviously, though, has comic book writing experience, and people do love her runs on books like Birds of Prey, Batgirl, Secret Six, Wonder Woman, a lot of DC stuff, but she also has written Deadpool, Domino, and even a recent Jessica Jones book, The Variants, had ties to the X-Men stuff. So you have all that, and I think that most people, even if they don't like Gail Simone, I mean, you have to admit, because she does have comic book writing experience, if you kind of lay the line here and think, okay, well, the Krakoan era, that's Jonathan Hickman. Now we get the Simoan era. Gail Simone, not quite equal there. But if we're going to get rid of the Krakoan era, you need somebody to be the head writer, right? And Gail Simone is who it seems to be. Now, all of that, one thing does really concern me, and that is that I've talked to a couple people now, and they have both told me that Gail Simone wasn't Tom Brevoort's first choice to be the head X-Men writer. She also wasn't the second or third choice either, and that is troubling, but that's kind of a comic book thing right now. I mean, recent news, we've had people admit that they were offered to write Batman, Spider-Man, these things, and they turned it down. Even some big names who actually admitted I was asked to write the X-Men stuff, and they turned it down. And that is troubling. So when we end up talking about this, and I hope that people do comment and tell me what they think about this news, I'd love to hear if you don't think Gail Simone is the right choice or a good choice, who would you have gotten instead? And I think that there's a couple writers that will come up, but there's also that idea that they might not have wanted to do it, but also there's some that might just need a little bit more experience. And there's a couple writers that I have in mind that I hope end up being on X books that can then turn into them leading the charge down the line. I'm not sure, but like I said earlier, Gail Simone as the head X writer isn't a make or break deal for me. What is going to be the make or break deal is, who are the other writers? Who are the writers writing what books in this new X line that Brevoort is saying? And he has come out and said that there will be a lot of books. There'll be the same amount of books that we had in the Krakoan era. He was very honest about it and said that that's coming from higher up. It's a money thing. It kind of threw me. I wish that he didn't say that, but I do give him credit for saying it. It just makes me remember. I hate the idea, and we all know that comic book, it's a business. Everything pretty much is a business, but I kind of like to forget that and just enjoy things, but that's tough. But again, I am going to wait and see who the other writers are, see what the other books are, and then I will make the decision of what I will read, what I won't read, and all of that. But Gail Simone being the head writer, I see some people losing their minds about it, and that's completely up to them. You can lose your mind about everything. I lose my mind at points, but that's because I'm a big dummy. So all of that, though, is I'd like to hear if this is something where, this is good news or bad news. And please don't be afraid to admit that this is good news as much as, people will come out and say it's bad news. Just let me know what you think. I'd love to hear about it. Please, no fighting in the comments except with me. You're allowed to fight with me because I am, as I like to say, a miserable prick. And that is trademark to the nth degree. But that's it. Thanks, everybody. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and especially big X-Men comic book readers. I should have even mentioned at the beginning, I'm not a huge X-Men fan. I want to be. I'm waiting to be. And I thought I was going to be when the Krakoan era, Hoxpox, all that started. I was into it. And then it just kind of got watered down with all these other writers. Again, it wasn't necessarily Hickman's fault, but these other writers that got on board, those were the things that made me leave. Just like Hickman, right? Me and Hickman, we both took a break. But hopefully this will end up in something good. But let me know what you think. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, all you weirdos. And I will see you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.